Hi, good evening. You're currently tuned in to the social media channels of Rappler on Facebook and on YouTube. I am Dwight De Leon, congressional reporter for Rappler. We are here at the House of Representatives in Quezon City, and we just finished covering the 7 to 8 hour hearing by the House of Representatives, the first public hearing on the spread of disinformation online, or as they call it, fake news. 3 committees, the committees on public order, public safety, and the information and communications technology are conducting this joint inquiry together. They call themselves the Tri-Committee, seemingly following in the footsteps of the Quad Committee and the Quinta Committee. Both committees have amassed considerable amount of clout online, and the congressmen who appeared in those hearings and those committees have boosted their political profiles in the past few months. The Tri-Committee seeks to identify various gaps in the law amid the weaponization of social media and the rise of troll networks. Congressman Ace Barbers, whose privileged speech triggered or was the basis of this investigation or of this inquiry, said he wants a regulatory framework developing a code of conduct for content creators. So basically, he wants a regulation for social media. Ahead of Tuesday's hearing, the House said it had sent invitation to around 40 social media personalities. Many of them are vloggers known to be supportive of the Duterte family. That includes former President Rodrigo Duterte and the incumbent Vice President Sara Duterte, who is now at odds with her former ally, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and his administration. Many of these vloggers who were invited in today's hearing were absent. They skipped the hearing basically. Among those who did not attend the proceedings today, despite the invitation sent by the House Tri-Committee, were former NTF-LCAC officials Lorraine Badoy and Jeffrey Celis, former Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles. Remember, she was the first press secretary of President Marcos, but is now also a critic of the administration. Actress Vivian Velez, former broadcaster Jay Sonza, and we also have bloggers Sasasot, June Abines, Mark Anthony Lopez, Lord Byron Cristobal, also known as Banat Bay, and Crisette Chu. They did not attend the hearing today despite the invitation sent by the House. Although in social media posts ahead of today's hearing, some of the personalities named in the House press release, such as Badoy and vloggers MJ Reyes and Tio Moreno, said they did not receive any formal notice from the House. Anyway, all of those who did not attend today's hearing were issued show cause orders by the House Tri-Committee. The show cause orders mean that they are compelled to attend the next hearing that will be scheduled by the Tri-Committee, and if they fail to attend, they will be cited in contempt, prompting the release of arrest orders. So that will be the consequence of their absence next time, should they skip next hearing. Earlier, some of them submitted letters to justify their absence, excuse letters basically. For example, Angeles said in her letter that she was not attending because she did not believe in the legality of the inquiry. June Abines, in a separate letter, claimed that he was skipping the hearing because its objective is an attempt to curtail the people's right to expression. That is based on the letters read by Santa Rosa, Laguna Representative Dan Fernandez earlier, who presided over the committee hearing. Later, the House learned that numerous vloggers that they invited today went to the Supreme Court to challenge the constitutionality of the proceedings. According to former presidential spokesman Harry Roque, the petition that was filed with the Supreme Court argues that the inquiry creates a chilling effect on the exercise of constitutional freedoms. He says the probe is a witch hunt to scare the Dutertes and their allies. Among those who filed the petition include Badoy, former Press Secretary Angeles, Mark Anthony Lopez, Abines, Jun Abines, and Crisette Chu, among others. It is notable, though, that the investigation comes after numerous lawmakers allied with the Marcos Jr. administration became frequent targets of the pro-Duterte influencers. For example, Congressman Barbers, Congressman Dan Fernandez, Abang Lingkod, Representative Caraps Paduano, and Manila 6th District Representative Benny Abante. They were among those who have been constantly on the receiving end of criticisms of the so-called DDS vloggers because they were the co-chairs of the Quad Committee. And the Quad Committee, as we know it, has been investigating the controversies that hounded the Rodrigo Duterte administration, from pogos to the extrajudicial killings. Abante, at the start of today's hearing, even asked whether the vlogger who supposedly maligned him online was present. And when he found out that that vlogger was absent, he was the one to raise a show cause, or to issue raise a motion to issue a show cause order against that vlogger. So in a hearing, it was still inevitably a platform for the congressmen to raise their personal grudges, or to confront the people who they think unfairly criticized them in social media. In the latter part of the hearing, for instance, Sagip Representative Rodante Marcoleta engaged with one of the vloggers who attended. Ricky Tomotorgo was his name. Marcoleta said that one YouTube video title posted by Tomotorgo last year asked the public not to be deceived by Marcoleta. So Marcoleta told the vlogger earlier that he wasn't deceiving anyone. Anyway, the pro-Duterte lawmaker, Marcoleta, moved to cite Tomotorgo in contempt, but no one seconded, so basically that effort failed. Nonetheless, Tuesday's hearing was a way to put the spotlight on how fast false narratives spread online through manipulative actors such as black PR agencies, hired trolls, and influencers, inauthentic coordinated behavior, deepfakes, and disinformation distribution network. The group, Press 1 PH, even presented their research on how a network of Chinese linked social media accounts proliferate anti-Marcos sentiments and pro-Sara Duterte narratives online. The hearing today was also an avenue to check how other countries regulate social media. Experts, however, cautioned against this top-down regulation approach, as it may be used arbitrarily to crack down on dissent potentially. These have been the concerns of human rights groups. Even in the past Congress, when some lawmakers would file bills seeking to combat disinformation or so-called fake news. Anti-disinformation expert Professor Jonathan Ong, for example, suggested instead that the government support research and civil society efforts in mitigating businesses for disinfo for hire, and efforts to pressure social media giants into being more transparent about their algorithms. Professor Rachel Can of the University of the Philippines College of Mass Communication, meanwhile, recommended emphasis instead on media literacy and education, and punishment for the troll networks and the black PR actors. The House is set to adjourn tomorrow for a 3-month campaign season break and the elections, and they are set to be back in session in June for only around 6 days before they adjourn for good, because the next batch of lawmakers will come in by July. But there is a possibility that the Tri-Committee will schedule more committee hearings or will continue the inquiry during the break in the coming weeks. So that's the latest here in the House of Representatives. I am Dwight De Leon for Rappler.